So welcome to this webinar about migrating off a legacy IAM solution to a modern identity governance solution. Today at this webinar, we will talk about the situation customers or users with a legacy Oracle solution are in and what their options are. I am Morten Sigurdsson from Omada. I have 20 years of experience in IAM and IGA. And today I have invited one of our North American partners, Clango, to share their experiences. And Clango are in that fortunate situation that they have a deep understanding of both the Oracle technology as well as Omada's technology. So I'd like to welcome Arun from Clango. So Arun, would you like to introduce yourself?
Definitely, thanks, Morten. I'm Arun Kotanath. I'm the Chief Security Strategist with Clango. Clango has been in the space of identity management ever since 2004. Came through different strategies, technologies, and what product vendors, what is available in the North American market. When they were tiny little companies, got acquired by larger companies like Oracle, IBM, and CA. So my experiences over that period of time have been able to work on various technologies such as Oracle and the newest technologies like Omada. Glad to be here, Morten. Thank you.
You're very welcome. So I'd like to share that from our session today, we'd like to take away some key learnings. First of all, we'd like to provide you with an overview of the situation Oracle customers are in and the three options they have to move forward. Secondly, we'd like to provide an understanding to you of what to look for when selecting your future IGA solution. And thirdly, we would like to take the opportunity to provide a high-level overview of Omada's IGA solution. If I should share 2 minutes about Omada, briefly about Omada, we are named a leader in the Gartner Magic Quadrant for IGA report 2019. What we do is we provide a business-focused IGA product, both as a service and as software that automates control of policies and processes in a very unified way, very scalable across and supporting governance across the hybrid enterprise. Our Omada product is rated highest for identity governance in Gartner's Critical Capabilities Report 2019. That's a report that goes alongside with Gartner's Magic Quadrant. And in particular, in governance-focused use cases, our product scores higher than any other vendor's product in that report. And it's really our experience also that governance-focused use cases is at the center, the center of gravity for the needs of enterprises. We have been in the domain of IGA since 2000, where we have been using identity to create business value for our customers. And our mantra is to do more with identity and use identity to create business value in various business scenarios for our customers. We are an IGA thought leader, and we have published frameworks to the marketplace, including our Identity Process Plus framework that is available for free, also downloadable from our website, should you be interested in that. We have a comprehensive international partner network, and one of these partners is Clango, based out of North America, with us here today. And that's kind of you, maybe Arun, if you could introduce Clango.
Thanks again. As I said before, Clango has been in the identity market about 16 plus years, specifically focusing on identity and access management. Early on, we plunged into the identity world, thinking that identity is going to be the cornerstone for a lot of the cybersecurity and business enablement aspects of IT and technology surrounding that. So in that journey, we have strong experience in the early on technologies such as Oracle and the peers of Oracle. So we understand, we quite a bit understand the space. We understand the challenges, business challenges, and we understand these cybersecurity challenges leading into the identity management and aspects of identity management. And from a credentials perspective, we've been mentioned in the Gartner Market Watch. We've been holding the honorary title of Deputy CTO for Oracle. We have done over 250 IAM engagements only in 2019. So a lot of skills acquired over the time, and we have been in this market helping primarily the North American customers in various aspects of identity management.
Thank you, Aaron. And maybe a good way to start by if you could share some of your experiences talking to your customers and others who use Oracle. What is it they are telling you about why? Basically, maybe start with why they have Oracle today.
Sure, that's a good amount of noise and conversations what we actually invited into lately. So, and we've basically, when we talk to the customers who are looking for several new business avenues and business and progressing into modernization and things like that, some of the things what we were noted in these four buckets we try to put it. There are several other reasons as well, but these four kind of stood up. So most of the time, it is not by choice that they end up in the label of something like Oracle. It is over the time. Oracle has the approach of acquire and then put it into the portfolio, right? So when in that kind of an approach, things like an Obelix or Tor or Bitstream and things like that end up becoming a Oracle owned technology, and people not by choice, customers not by choice, they actually end up in the Oracle realm of Oracle's ecosystem of an identity management software platform. So that was one of the reasons what we heard, that maybe this is a legacy acquisition of a software platform, which again acquired by Oracle. So we all know that Oracle acquired Sun, which acquired Waveset. So there was a progression of this acquisition which led into the Oracle ecosystem. And also back in the time, the IGA or the identity and access management requirements were very limited. It was all centered around being able to automate certain things, identities being able to propagate from system A to system B. So the limitations, the requirements were limited. The governance structure was not in place as much as you want it today. And during that time, the technology that is available fulfilled and was sufficient, and that's another reason why a lot of the customers are still with legacy platforms. Sometimes customers acquired legacy applications by way of mergers and acquisitions. That when it becomes a choice of platform, the depth and focus and footprint that drove some of the decisions they made. And in some cases, the financial advantage due to bundle deals, such as a universal license agreement, where a lot of things could be clubbed in as a single purchase, but in most cases they may either end up being a free purchase, quote unquote, or become a shelfware because of this bundle deal. So all in all, these four categories were prominent when we were talking to a lot of the customers. There were other reasons also, such as the ability to be provided as a framework and be able to customize and so on and so forth. But there were legacy requirements where build versus buy was a mantra most people welcomed. Martin, does that?
Yes, thank you, Aaron. Very helpful. So what are these organizations telling you about the operations of Oracle, the situation they have today, or even before their most recent announcement?
So, great question. In majority of these scenarios, what we are seeing is that the Oracle customers are coming to a point where they have to make a decision, right? So what they're experiencing with Oracle today is that over the time, because the requirements were limited when they started off, and now the requirements and the involvement of the business and security and compliance are more and more driving the relevance of an IDM or IAM or IGA program, the operations are getting costly. So, if you look at specifically for Oracle, the complexity of the product itself is fairly high due to the fact that, when you deploy Oracle IAM or as it's called Oracle IGA today, it's not a single product you are actually going after. There need to be a fairly involved database requirement. There is a fairly involved deployment of an application server. You need to know Java in order to facilitate a lot of the customization and things like that. So the cost of the operations go higher and higher and higher over the years, and that becomes a challenge to prove the ROI. Now, that results into, when you have so much of customization and things like that, upgrades and modernization becomes very difficult because you're going feature by feature for your limited business requirements. So that again translates into, if you want to do an upgrade, that jacks up the cost. When upgrades take away all of your budget, modernization takes the second seat, and you're stuck with older way of doing business all along. That leads into the third bullet point, where the resources who can do that, who can drive these efforts, are becoming the number of resources are becoming lower and lower, and that again results into the lack of resources, the lack of specialized skill needed. That increases the cost. Obviously, the demand in the market is very high, so the cost goes high. Now, with all these things, when the perceived notion of the Oracle product does not meet the business requirement because the complex requirements are required to be customized and so on and so forth. And now the drive with majority of the businesses being, how can we embrace the movement towards cloud and SaaS and all the cloud architectures that is available, and that provides an immediate business value or time to market, reduce the time to market. Legacy systems are now finding it difficult to catch up to that quickly. So with all those things, what we are seeing is that cost, complexity, lack of resources, and the lack of features to support the modernized IT world is what we are hearing from our customers.
Excellent. And then there has been a recent announcement from Oracle. Could you talk about that as well?
Absolutely. So when the most recent version of the Oracle 12G is basically what Oracle wants everybody to be. So the idea of common platform that can be supported well, but that puts a lot of organizations who has been traditionally on the 11G or the previous platform in a position where they have to, or they're forced to do an upgrade, which will obviously require them to go through several iteration of the impact assessments and unknown facts or customizations they have not considered and things like that. So that push for moving towards 12G is actually giving a little bit of a problem for the customers, especially when it happens at a time where IT is asked to do more with less, which is also when the cost is going up due to every other factor we talked on the previous slide, that is actually putting IT in a situation where how can we substantiate that ROI? It is always a major effort from a major version to a major version upgrade, because you have to assess the requirements for migrating the customizations and the other integrations that have been done. We typically don't know, are they going to be version compatible or not. So you have to go through individually what those things are, especially if they are business critical systems. You really don't want to make that assumption. So that all those things together is actually giving the customers an opportunity where should we take a step back and try to do a reevaluation of our current situation, a reevaluation of our business requirements, and what is optimal for us, what is good for us going forward, to either consider a new system or consider what other opportunities and improvements we can make. So that's really what we are, what our customers are feeling. In most cases, this is an opportunity to rethink and reevaluate, what could be done better.
Yeah, so you're mentioning the options that the Oracle customers have. Could you elaborate more on that? We have 3 on this slide here.
Yes, so we typically tell them you have literally, and it's very simple when it comes to what options do you have. We have 3 options. You can do nothing. You can migrate to 12G. You can reevaluate your position, consider the market leaders, and consider your business requirements and make the right match. So simply speaking, there are 3 options we consider. Obviously they have the trade-offs they have to make, but these are the three options we can recommend. Obviously, option 1 is doing nothing. So every option will have a consequence and a risk. And in this case, when you do nothing for your existing environment, the first thing you have to do is to provide or offer an extended support, which is to make sure that Oracle can actually support the legacy code base if you require a patch or update and things like that. So that requires multiple folds of your typical maintenance cost. That, combined with the already increased and probably ongoing going to be increased on an ongoing basis due to the lack of skills, that is going to actually increase the cost in multiple. So in that effort, the risks are going to be, the new demands are going to be difficult to meet, because now if you look at the IGA landscape, business compliance and security is driving most of those, not necessarily IT. So these business requirements are now essential in order to provide the level of support or level of expectation from the business. Inability to meet that is a huge risk. And obviously that leads into lack of support. Lack of product support is going to constantly put you into the risk of unknown consequences or risk. Example, what if you need to have a security patch which is critical, and then the support structure cannot provide that. So these are all the risks you'll be naturally walking into if you do nothing. Your second option is obviously going to embrace the Oracle path and then do the 12G upgrade, and obviously that will get into the cost factor, the impact analysis you have to do in order to understand where you stand today, where you want to go, and what are the implications of certain components being upgraded, customized, or extended. So in some cases, you have to recode the connectors. Some cases, we have to redo the workflow if you have heavily customized those. So there is an ambiguous situation whether a lift and shift approach of code base is going to be working or not. The complex component structures, if you have scaled it by the infrastructure in a platform level with multiple application servers and load balancers and so on and so forth, that could create a re-architecture of the system at the component level. You obviously have to retrain your IT users because you're looking into modernization, you're looking into more features. So the end users, the administrators, and the business users need to be retrained. This all come in a place where lack of skills is still a problem. So without solving the skills, you're stuck with all the risk what we talked about before, and the new risk which you'll be incurring because of the 12G platform, which is still unproven in your organization with the business requirements you have. And if you're especially using 11G, the legacy system in a business critical fashion, you're at that risk of the unknown platform. You cannot forecast any of the delays due to the skill required. The migration is a major effort. So these are all putting into a situation where delays are called for and unexpected. So that leads into, obviously, when you have complications due to delays and lack of skill, that typically runs into uh, the budget overrun and any of the unforeseen or unproven scenarios where if you have to recode a customization you already have or an extended integration you have built, that will end up being a budget overrun or a delay in time, delay in delivery. So these are the risks you're going to face. A lot of it being unknown when you look into option two to migrate to 12G platform. That leads into option three, which is essentially, this is a time you can take a step back and look what is available, look what the current landscape is, look what a modern IGA system can do for you. So what should you consider? You should, rather than considering this as a drop-in IT solution, which used to be the legacy requirements for an IGA, consider this to be a holistic approach to deliver business success. Rather than looking at custom processes and workflows which were enabled during a IT-centric requirement, look at best practices and processes which are gained over the time so that you can, again, go back to enabling the business success. As much as possible, stick with configuration, not necessarily coding, because if you have to code something, you also have to maintain that because the product manufacturer may not support it. One of the requirements for IGA today is very high requirements of compliance due to privacy laws and other regulations. Auditing is a very key outcome of having a IGA system. Easily available auditing functions. In most cases, an on-demand availability of auditing data is a inherent requirement for an IGA system in today's world. The new sets of applications, when you move away from, as an example, when you move away from the local Exchange email server to an Office 365 platform provided by Microsoft, that is a huge business shift now need to be also supported by an IGA system. Similar approach where when you move to Salesforce or other platforms in Azure or AWS or any other cloud and SaaS and platform as a service providers, an IGA system should be able to support all of those cloud delivered platforms going forward. It's not even a nice to have anymore, it is a must have going forward. So for those, the preference should be out of the box support for all of those integrations. If you have to customize each one of those things, that is probably not in the best interest of a new acquisition of the IGA system. So in all these things, we as Clango has been doing compare and contrast on a lot of these platforms. And one of the things what we find is Omada over the past 15 plus years have matured in coming from on-prem to cloud and then providing an equal level of support on both sides, be it on-prem, be it cloud, or be it hybrid. That's one thing we are happy about in partnering with Omada in terms of providing that as one of our skills we can deliver to the customer.
Thank you, Aaron. And actually, to your first point about holistic approach, as well as the other points, I'd like to touch on some of those. If we start with the first point, the holistic approach, at Omada we provide 4 building blocks, and each block plays a very important part in helping our customers as well as our partners to achieve excellence in really managing technology, people, and processes. And our first building block at the top of the slide, that's our product. It is a cloud architected IGA solution that automates control of policies and processes scalable across the hybrid enterprise. And also referring back to Gartner, also stating that SaaS or software as a service is a very lean way to deliver. And if you look at some cost savings, and Gartner estimates that cloud deployment accelerates time to value in projects 30%, and it saves 35% in initial integration costs, and even saves 40% in professional services over a 3-year period. So this is based on research, and so there's some significant savings by the cloud delivery model. But we have gone further than that, because we also know that it takes more than great software to deliver value to customers. So our second building block is our framework, Identity Process Plus. It is a leading IGA best practice process framework for best practice processes, and they are also reflected in the actual product. The third block is Identity Project Plus, and that is a proven project methodology for IGA success. I'll come back to that. And the fourth block is our academy, the IGA e-learning. It contains IGA e-learning with in-person courses and the role-based training and learning path. And it's of course all be able to deliver that remote to our customers. So these four building blocks reflect our holistic approach to deliver value, not just on the technology, but also on ensuring the success of our customers and partners in a 360-degree value proposition. Looking at your second point, Arun, best practices. The Omada solution provides built-in best practice standard processes really to accelerate implementation and to help assuring long-term success and to keep the project on track. And these best practices that are developed over the years, they're a huge accelerator that helps to create value early and to avoid having to reinvent the wheel when it comes to implementing some optimized business processes. An example of a process, and this is a build-out slide, and actually I'll build it out while I talk. So it's a best practice process. This includes, for example, this one, for instance, it's onboarding and offboarding of employees and contractors, including handling revocation of access to resources as an individual or to an organization's role changes. So best practice includes support for several key events in the identity's life cycle, such as a contractor being converted to an employee, handling of parental leave, leaving, rehiring, or rejoining. So the whole life cycle is supported by the product. And the identity data, they can be sourced, which is often the trigger being in the authoritative source, the HR system. They can be sourced directly from one or more authoritative data repositories, such as HR system, or even the Omada solution itself can serve as an authoritative source for certain constituencies, for example, contractors. Now, another example of a best practice process is a self-service access request. So the Omada solution provides a self-service capability that makes it easier for users and managers to request access without the need for any human intervention to do the provisioning and subsequent approval. So based on a user-friendly portal, it really enables users to request multiple services in one single request, also on behalf of others, such as a manager requesting access to their employees or her employees. So access can even be requested within a context, such as job functions or projects being a context. And then the solution ensures that access privileges are removed automatically as soon as the context membership is terminated. And that really supports a key principle also for compliance, the principle of least privilege access. Another standard best practice process is access certification. Some call it attestation or access review. And this really ensures that strict regulatory requirements are supported out of the box. The Omada solution features multiple configurable certification types, supporting that access certification can be performed on entitlements, identities, account ownerships, and much more. And even campaign types can be configured with a wizard to include any type of object and can be really triggered based on events or scheduled for periodic certification. This comes out of the box in the product. I used the word configurable many times already. It's important to stress that when I say configuration, it's completely different from customization, where the latter involves custom code. Now, with Omada, you your specific needs for adapting business processes, adding new fields, and other things can be met with configuration without the need for costly and time-consuming programming effort. And this also includes the ability to add new workflows and configuration of escalation concepts as an example. And such configuration is done through an intuitive web-based interface where changes are being done to forms, to fields, attributes, and objects, as well as new can be created, all done in the configuration level. No need to compile any code. Moving on to also, as you mentioned, Arun, the auditing, strong auditing capabilities that is important in any IGA solution. The Omada solution supports auditing through a reconciliation cycle that runs in the background of the solution to provide closed loop compliance. So reconciliation is performed by continuously calculating the difference or the delta between the state of data in all the monitored or connected, loosely or strongly connected, or very integrated systems, but you give the capability to constantly calculate the difference between what's in the systems and the desired state defined by policies and other approvals and other reasons to other ways to build up the desired state. And that provides you the capability to act on any discrepancy between actual state and desired state. So it's a very powerful concept built into the solution. And that provides, for example, the capability to provide a consolidated overview. So here you can see an actionable compliance dashboard, provides a continuous monitoring overview of access and any issues that might be across all systems, and really provides the capability to launch mitigating actions directly from the dashboard, ensuring that risks are mitigated and inconsistencies are handled efficiently. There's also a range of other dashboards included, such as KPI dashboards, and the solution also comes out of the box with several standard reports ready to use. The enterprise-grade IGA software as a service subscription includes a number of sub-services that are important to the customers, such as high availability of service, we guarantee an SLA of 99.9%, 24/7, 365 service support. We provide a 3-tier deployment environment included in subscription, unlimited data storage, unlimited traffic, service continuity management, disaster recovery, backup services, continuous reporting, and much more, all included in the subscription. So it's really a completely different paradigm than the on-prem world that was more how solutions were deployed in the past. Now, Omada solution provides connectivity to hundreds of on-premises and cloud-based systems, such as, for instance, Salesforce, Office 365, and Azure AD, to mention some examples. And the solution supports standards such as SCIM 2.0, REST, OData, and LDAP, just to mention a few but important ones. It also provides strong data mapping configuration capabilities to easily connect to new systems without the need for any programming. So a wizard enables easy configuration of target system definitions, data model mappings, data import, and provisioning method. So the functionality provided by the event solution is designed to support the phases, 3 phases, explore, build, and operate phases that are defined in our Omada Identity Project Plus implementation methodology. So the combination of enterprise-grade product functionality being implemented using our well-defined methodology and by applying our best practice processes to deliver value makes Omada the most value-adding IGA solution on the market today. An example of how things are done: during the explore phase, for example, a fit gap analysis is performed, which consists of 4 steps. First step is to make sure your business priorities as an organization are mapped to our best practice processes. And then a fit gap evaluation is performed. And as a step 3, any solutions to handle deviations from best practice are described and then the business blueprint is generated. So it's a very, very powerful way to get to results fast with a predictable business valuable outcome. So to summarize, your opportunity as an organization and as an Oracle customer, you have a choice to make. And Omada and Clango are giving you an opportunity to, first of all, take back control of your IT while avoiding high maintenance and upgrade costs to really enhance your security and simplify your life moving forward. Secondly, get an easy-to-use solution with a very strong ROI. Thirdly, avoid getting stuck in custom code as you move forward. Let that be something from the past. And lastly, and summarizing, all of it are basically what's most important to achieve your business goals with your new solution as you move forward, on time, on budget. So, to conclude, we hope this was helpful to you and informative. We would like to discuss your situation and the opportunities you have further with you. So please be very welcome to contact us on this email, info@omada.net. Visit Clango's website, visit Omada's website, and also on Omada's website you can download our Identity Process Plus framework at no cost. It's a valuable tool that many organizations use also to be inspired on how to scope their project as they move forward. So with those words, thank you very much, everyone, for attending, presenting here today, and thank you for everyone participating, and enjoy the rest of today.